And well, security and privacy startups and companies have been neglecting, because putting in security measurements is not really generating revenue for a lot of companies, right? And I think now the regulation is simply have seen enough all the breaches and all the problems that it creates, all the data leaks and all the crypto miners in websites and crypto mining in, I don't know, in medical devices, you know? So they're trying to just kind of force companies to take the S together, kind of, right?
Sorry. Everything you've said has been centric upon people.
Yes.
Now I'm curious about the Internet of Things. Let's say I've got sensors somewhere over a certain area. If these sensors have geographic locating information, one could infer things about people, but I don't know if that has to be subject to the same laws which you just mentioned. These are things and not people.
So in essence, any data you collect about people, and I think it's my time running out now.
Oh, yeah, no, we actually, no, you don't have time yet, but we're starting to run long, because it's actually almost 5 to 8.
Yeah.
So we need to, if we could continue slowing down, let them get to the presentation, and do questions at the end. Questions?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they're all great questions, trust me, but we need to get to the presentation.
So, and as somebody already mentioned and made conclusion kind of, implementing data privacy compliance, even such as GDPR, is a massive undertaking, right? And it impacts business operations, technical operations, partnership, who are you using as a vendors? It impacts legals and customers. So the reason is for that personally identifiable information is everywhere. Think about databases, file storage, all the presentations you make about happy customers, spreadsheets, documents, notes you're taking, and also all the email servers and client machines. Like, you know, you have on your laptop downloaded all the emails. How do you know where to delete? You have log files, and on top of that, you also have a cloud systems. You have CRM companies, you have support, HR, analytics, marketing. You have websites where you use a bunch of trackers, backups, and backups on backups, and Active Directory. And then also you have garbage where printers, fax machines, archives, and all the paper as well are impacted. Phew! Right, does it sound exciting? So, but actually I think, and we think with Brad this together, that this is giving an opportunity. And it has benefits as well. An opportunity is to actually to clean up your data operations, to have this uncomfortable discussion with marketing. So what apps did you buy, what services you're using, to have this uncomfortable discussions, maybe who is responsible for what, and let go of the ego to kind of to bring this all together. And it resolves, we believe, that it resolves to a better brand through higher trust. And actually, you can get better customer data if you engage correctly. Because how many of you have just filled in some form because you wanted to go to Nextid and just like put some BS there? I did it several times. I was just like, oh my God, this is another form. Just let me through there, right? But if you engage correctly and provide all these rights, you will get more qualitative data that you can understand your customer better. So, but there is barriers. And there is at least five top of them. The first one is inadequate budget. And this is every man's problem. Because on average, spending to become compliant in GDPR is somewhere between $4.5 million US. And this is average on big companies. So spendings are, for smaller companies under 250 is a couple of $100,000 can be, and range to tens of millions of dollars depending on the size. And most importantly, I think it is a lack of qualified privacy staff. Today, there is missing in globally 75,000 data privacy officers. Like, you cannot just like, I know, educate people overnight. And too little time, yes, 1 month left. So, it's if you're not started yet, so I think it's good time to go home and start doing it immediately. And also we have complexity of the law. The whole GDPR is 9 chapters, 91 articles, and each of the articles have working groups that defines more in detail what does it mean actually there. And then we yet to see courts settling what does it actually working groups meant, what they said about what they meant about law. And then we have each of the country ability to interpret slightly differently. So it becomes really hard for companies to manage that. There is not really many tools, because if you understand, you have technology, you have people involved, you have project management inside it, so there is not really tools that make it all coherent. And companies spending on education, on tech, and hiring personnel. So I'm just going quickly here. So, and there are some solutions. There are GDPR-ready products. So, for example, you have databases, you have cloud services that are compliant in the sense as a processor. They provide you some means to more easily integrate maybe with data deletion and so on, or search for data. You have some of the solutions that are data lakes. They propose you to pour everything in one whole database and you can delete it more easily, which is, I don't think, is really good solutions. You have forms and project managements that help you to go through the process, to guide you through what needs to be done, how to think about it all. And you have consultants, which recently I spoke, it's $850 per hour. Good job for them. So, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the same, like, $850 per hour, it's not bad. So, APP is a good website to start with, and this is International Association of Privacy Professionals. They have a huge document about existing vendors that are classified in 10 categories. And two big things there are. There is privacy program management applications, which allows you to kind of engage with customer, engage within organization and understand what needs to be done. And then you have enterprise privacy management, which does activity monitoring on access database. It has data discovery with your data located. How many of you in companies know exactly where is all personal data located? One. How many databases you have? One? It's all on blockchain. It's all on blockchain. I forgot, sorry. Yeah. All right, so there is this like a problem because people don't talk without departments. And this is where kind of it comes all to that it requires GDPR is actually what it implies. It implies operational shift. So we have involved people, technology, and brand, and regulations, and there is no single solution. So what we need, I think, we need to think about new organizational operations and how the information is flowing there. So what is one good thing to start doing is with privacy policy and code of conduct, kind of assessing who has the right to access data and how we treat it. And also to do partner due diligence. And always remember that compliance is not one-day event that you're done with it and you're good. It's a living process. You need to continuously be monitoring your infrastructure, people, and so on, because it's can hit you like a rain in a day. And what is critical to remember is that now it is the customer that have the control of the data. So customer privacy choices becoming a foundation to any company that is engaging with the consumer. So, and from there, kind of the next step would be to understand your data assets, to assess it, to categorize it, and to make notes of it. And what we need essentially is reliable workflows. So how do you engage with the consumer about its rights? How do you allow them easily to retrieve data, delete it, or make this request? How do you engage with them about what data you're collecting and why? And I think in general, we believe, I will say me and Brett and all other in our company believes that privacy-centric data operations is actually will enhance your customer trust. Because if you become open and if you talk about it and engage, most of people don't have problem sharing data as long as it's on equal terms. And it's actually implementing GDPR can lead to dramatically lowering costs. Because how many data assets are lying around in an organization and you're paying for storage, for backup, for services you're not using and you don't even know that you had sign up and put it on credit card somewhere, right? So, and give you compliance confidence also that can become branding. And wherever your business expand next, you can be sure that you can be compliant. And from that example is Brazil is looking at the same regulations as GDPR. India is also released a white paper requesting feedback, and they're thinking to implement even harder measures for protecting personal data. So, and in closing, this is after 8, so I will just ask these questions again. So, how more confident are you feeling about GDPR after this talk? Worse. Thank you. Mission completed. Anybody feels a bit more confident? You feel worse. That's good. Nightmares. So, and how many now actually think that the business need GDPR compliance? Oh, nobody thinks that anymore. Right. So, anybody's going home to start preparing? Yes. That sounds great. So, thank you so much. Thank you for staying awake during compliance talk. And I am here after that. And thank you for all laughters.
We actually have it for another 5 minutes. Now we have time for some few questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions.
Okay, a lot of questions. It's great.
Okay, the floor is open. Questions?
I'd like to,
Yeah, let's pick up with them.
another one. I'm going to present a scenario. Varian is facing it, but so are many other medical device companies. In the world of artificial intelligence, there are applications where computers will interpret medical images, CAT scans, MR scans, and whatnot. The nature of artificial intelligence is you train these neural nets by having hundreds of CAT scans come into the neural net as part of the training process. This has been shown to work. Now, I hear stories that if Varian or some other medical device firm takes images from, let's say, Denmark and uses that as part of the training, and yet later there's a Denmark citizen who says, oh, I want to be removed. I want my information removed. Now this data set that we received was anonymized. We don't have their specific information. Maybe it was, you can interpret dimensions of the person, but that's about it. Now, if we remove their data, it'll change the neural net. Sure it will. But we're kind of wondering, hey, can we push back and say, hey, come on, you gave us your anonymized medical information. It's anonymized, so your withdrawal of it should be irrelevant. I'm wondering if you've even heard anything about this kind of scenario, withdrawal of anonymized information.
So there is two things about it. So medical records in many cases can be considered like a legitimate purpose. You can store them. So for example, if if somebody had a disease and they would say, hey, I don't know, I had some infection, please delete it. So it can be in interest of public to keep this data. The same for research and so on, especially if data is anonymized. So then person would not even know that you have it. And I think that there will be incentives to kind of to share your data. Like, for example, there are insurance companies that give you like fitness tracker. And if you share the data about your activities, it will adjust your kind of premium according to your activity. So there is also incentive for companies to think about like, hey, is it a shift happening that actually that the data becoming as a trading abilities that you can offer to people to actually to opt in and be part of that. Right, so I think it's just for anonymized, if you have really anonymized it, I don't think there is any kind of, I would advise to contact lawyer, but generally I don't think there is any big issue with that. Thank you for mic assistance.
So I think of a situation where you have a teenager who puts the photograph up and
So slightly, how it's helping is that as a service, we're so in two ways, right? So in one, if somebody takes a screenshot of a picture and puts somewhere else, well, obviously it's kind of like, well, it's there. But on the other hand, you have already this law about right to be forgotten. So you can request Google to remove links, caching, and all the things. And for the third is like companies who are collecting your data, like your pictures and so on. And if they're sharing it with a third party, they need to document it and they need to be able to go and delete this data as well. So it's also part of the processor responsibilities to be able to kind of access and delete this data, even if it's stored on third party. So, and the sharing should not happen without consent, obviously, after May. Yes?
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Lorenz, for giving this talk. It was very informative.